Hello, welcome to Learn Anatomy Dr. Vessel, and today we're looking at a very important topic, which is the radial bone or the radius. The radius is a long bone of the forearm that is located at the lateral aspect of the forearm towards the side of the thumb. This is the thumb. Towards the side of the thumb is where the radius is located. The radius rotates during pronation and supination. We must take note of this, that it is the radius that rotates during pronation and supination. And this simple mnemonic can help you remember this, that the radius rotates during pronation and supination. The mnemonic is the first letter in radius is R and the first letter in rotate is R. So the letter R in radius and the letter R in rotate can help us remember that it is the radius that rotates during pronation and supination, while the ulnar bone stabilizes the forearm. The ulnar bone stabilizes the forearm during this movement, while the radius rotates during pronation and supination. Now, for articulation, the head of radius articulates with the capitulum of the humerus to form the elbow joint. The head of radius also articulates with the radial notch of the ulna to form the proximal radioulnar joint. The ulnar notch of the radius articulates with the head of the ulna to form the distal radioulnar joint, while the distal radius articulates with the scaphoid and lunates to form the wrist joint. You must take note of this, that the ulnar bone does not contribute in the formation of wrist joint. The wrist joint usually form from the distal end of the radius with its articulation with two carpal bones, which are the scaphoid and the lunate. And with this mnemonic, the radius slides into two bones. The radius slides into two bones. You can remember the carpal bone that is involved in the formation of wrist joints. The first two letters of slides, which is S and L, can help you know that it is the scaphoid and the lunate bone that's involved in the articulation with the distal radius to form the wrist joint. The first two letters of slide, which is S and L, can help you remember the two carpal bone that forms the wrist joint with the distal end of the radius. The next one we're talking about is the part of the radius. The radius have three parts. It has the upper end, the lower end, and the shaft. For the upper end has the following features. It has the head of the radius that articulates with the capitulum to form the elbow joint. It also articulates with the radial notch to form the proximal radioulnar joint. We will have the neck of the radius, and we have the radial tuberosity that provide attachment for bicep brachii. Now, here is a mnemonic that can help us to remember that it is the radial tuberosity that provide attachment for bicep brachii, and this mnemonic is this: you convert the letter D in radial tuberosity to 2. So you convert the letter D in radius to 2. So it helps you to remember that the muscle attachment to the radial tuberosity involves two B's, which is biceps, the B in biceps and the B in brachii. Now you also convert the L in ulnar tuberosity to 1. This will help you remember that the ulnar tuberosity only provide attachment for just one muscle with one letter B, which is the brachialis muscle. The next one we're talking about is the shaft of the radius. The shaft of the radius is triangular in shape. It has three borders, which are the anterior, posterior, and interosseous border. The interosseous border is the border that has the interosseous membrane that connects the radius to the ulnar bone. Now it has three surfaces, which are the anterior surface has the nutrient foramen, that's the posterior, and the lateral surface. The aim of the shaft is to provide flexor and extensor attachment for muscles. It provides attachment for the flexor muscles and also provide attachment for the extensors muscles. The next we're talking about is the lower end of the radius. The lower end of the radius has the following feature. It has a styloid process. It has an ulnar notch that provide attachment to the head of ulna to form the distal radioulnar joint. It also has the dorsal tubercle at the posterior surface that lodges the tendon of the extensor pronator the extensor pollicis longus. It has the dorsal tubercle at the dorsal surface that lodges the tendon of the extensor pollicis longus, and it also has the carpal articular surfaces. It also has the carpal articular surfaces that articulate with the carpal bone to form the wrist joint. You must remember that with this mnemonic, the radius slice into two bones can help you remember that it is the scaphoid bone and the lunate bone that form articulation with the distal end of the radius, or that form articulation with the carpal articular surface of the radius to form the wrist joint. We have come to the end of this section on the radius bone. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for watching.